Welcome to Strength Side. Walking is something that we all do, but some of us tend to have issues when we walk and we lose our proper posture. Maybe the butt sticks out, we jump into anterior pelvic tilt, and now what starts to happen is that we get this extension through our spine rather than our hip, okay? And that's a big problem because everybody has to walk throughout the day, right? So now every time that you walk, you're creating more issues in your body. So have no fear, today we're going to go over some easy walking exercises that you can use to teach your body how to walk better. Now, we're going to be using some posterior pelvic tilt strategies in this, so if you haven't watched this video, be sure to check this one out first so you can be able to control your pelvis while we're doing these drills. Let's get to it. So we're going to do a high step while walking, and now what that's going to look like is as I step, this other knee is going to come up and my hip is going to flex. Let's try to get it past 90 degrees. If you're a little limited there, 290 degrees is okay. Now what's going to be happening here is, like we said, make sure that you are familiar with posterior tilting this pelvis, because what we're going to do is we are going to work on engaging these core muscles to keep my spine nice and neutral, to keep my hip flexor doing its job to bring this hip up, keeping my pelvis posterior tilted a little bit to stay neutral here. And now once we achieve this, my pelvis is set in a good position. This other leg that's supporting me is going to be stabilizing, and those glutes are going to be working a lot to facilitate that movement. So let's go ahead and just show you what this is going to look like. I'm going to, boom, walk down, high knee, step, keeping my core on. I'm actively bringing this hip up, making this hip flexor do its job to flex my hip and keep my pelvis neutral. I'm just going to walk down. Now, you might be thinking, well, you know, my hips are already tight. I have anterior pelvic tilt, so this is tight. So isn't this just jamming me into more tightness? Well, no, it's actually not. What we're doing is we're teaching your hip flexor to work by doing what it's supposed to do, and that's flex the hip under a stable midline, okay? So if I get loose here and I get tilted, then yes, this is gonna feel really bad. It's gonna feel impingy, it's gonna jam up, and your hip's gonna get tight. But if I do my job and I turn on all this anterior core and I actively pull my hip up and that hip flexor works as it should and my pelvis stays posterior tilted, then this is gonna feel absolutely amazing, okay? So I'm here, I'm gonna take my high step, boom. You can do whatever you want with your hands. You can throw some motions in if that feels good for you. And I can do this back and forth. This is a great way to warm up and retrain your body to walk a little bit more properly. Now, what's next is we are going to throw in a little internal rotation. So I am going to just basically bring my knee across the midline. Now, especially if you have anterior pelvic tilt, then a lot of the time this feels good. This is not gonna feel good because you're limited in internal rotation. So now all we're gonna do is just come up. I'm gonna throw my opposite arm towards this leg. We're gonna do a little cross here. And now moving this arm is also gonna help kind of activate my core to stay on to keep me in a good position, all right? And then we get some hip internal rotation. So that's gonna look a little bit like this. Boom. All right, guys. So those are two very easy walking drills. I guess one walking drill with a little variation there that is going to help you teach your hips the way that they should be moving when you walk, okay? So I should actively flex my hip. This other hip is having to stabilize. And now when I plant, this hip can stabilize. And because I'm keeping my pelvis neutral and my spine neutral, I have a strong core. Now this hip can do its job to extend. My glute does the work. this hip actively flexes. We all have to walk pretty much every day of our lives, so it's absolutely crucial that your walking pattern supports a healthy functional body rather than doing the opposite and having ill effects on your body, okay? Now walking is very important, and learning how to walk properly can have carry over into other aspects of your movement as well. It can create a stronger posture, and if you learn how to walk strong, then you're going to be able to run stronger, you're going to be able to squat stronger, and you're going to be able to do a lot of different movements better. So if you're up walking right now, please walk back to the computer, give this video a like, subscribe to Strength Side, and if you have any questions, hit us up at facebook.com/strengthside. We usually take questions from there and answer them here. Hey, as always, we will see you guys in the next video.